Hello again. This is Conversations with the Quick Flick Critic. I'm your host, John Smistad. I introduce you to a wide range of remarkably creative and inherently interesting people, representing a broad spectrum spanning the world of entertainment. I invite you to listen, learn, laugh. Today's guests, whoa, this is going to be a roller coaster ride, ladies and gentlemen. I have two of them, and they are filmmakers from the great country of Canada, north of the border where I live in America. We have with us Adam RODNESS and Stuart Stone. First of all, Adam and Stu, man, thanks for joining us on Conversations with a Quick Flick Critic.
Thanks, John. You know, I'm actually happy that you got it right too. It is Adam and Stu. Sometimes people refer to us as Stu and Adam, but you nailed it already within your first sentence.
There's no rivalry though. There's no bad blood between the two. No,
it's just healthy competition. That's all it is.
Which is always good in general terms. All right, we'll launch into the actual interview, like I talked about before. To rip off Steve Martin. Let's get going with professional show business. Guys, I got to ask you, what I do mainly is talk to independent filmmakers because I love independent film and I just connect with it more. Talk about the Canadian independent film industry, because there's a hell of a lot of good stuff coming out of Canada, and just the really quality projects that are constantly coming out around the country.
Well, I think just to touch upon it, the Canadian government has quite opened their arms to help make and have Canadian producers succeed in the industry, and then that's way of subsidy, tax credit rebates, grants, in different jurisdiction incentives, so that you could actually physically go and raise the money, because the hardest part of getting a movie made is getting those funds to go and do that. So we're lucky that we're able to put those pieces of the puzzle together with the resources that we have from the Canadian system, and that's how we're able to finance these projects.
Cool.
And it's a really amazing thing, and I think that gives a lot more voices and opportunity to people within the Canadian landscape to tell their stories, and it's awesome. I think without that, I don't think the industry would be the same. So there's a lot of talented people that don't get to shine as much. They're making a lot of stuff, for a Canadian project to blow up in the US and the world, it's rare. Yeah. We had a movie called Jack of All Trades, which was a $90,000 Canadian documentary, and it made its way to US Netflix and really helped us and put us on the map. That allows for us Canadians to really keep on creating and showing the world that there's voices that are funny and interesting out here too.
I would also say, just to tack on to what you were mentioning, is about independent films in general. Like, I'm like you, I don't really go and see these $200 million budget movies. I like supporting independent films, and I like making them, and I know Adam does too. Okay. I think that you have, as on an independent level, you have to grind so much harder to get there's so much more effort that you need to put into to make your movie
all the time, Stu. Yeah,
whether it's paying the bills or getting the right crew or convincing actors to come be a part of your project, to promoting it. You have to do whatever you can to try to make as much noise as you can. So when you see an independent film sort of break through the tumbleweeds, it's exciting. We're rooting for all of them, but I think you get a more true sense of the voice. There's more of a voice to independent movies because they don't have a studio. You don't have a studio sort of saying you can do this, you can't do that. If you were able to make your movie, someone probably gave you money and said, go ahead, do what you do, and that's exciting. And Canada specifically, as far as in my lifetime, Canada has always had a unique presence in the comedy world. Canadian, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but there's, from SCTV on up, you have just a long laundry list of brilliant comic minds coming out of Canada for whatever reason. Maybe there's something in the water, but
it could be with a beer, perhaps.
Right. And so Exactly. The beer's a little stronger here.
More likely, but yeah, no, I hear
Yeah,
you.
the weed's legal and the beer's stronger. But I would say that just to be a part of the conversation for Adam and I, even if it's like we're number 101 on the top 100, just to be in that conversation is so exciting for us. And obviously our trajectory is that we're aiming to keep going. But Schitt's Creek, I should say, that was big for Canada. That really opened up a lot of people's eyes on like what could be made out here. Trailer Park Boys, Corner Gas. You have a lot of these Kim's Convenience. There's a lot of stuff that's happening on this side of the border that's starting to resonate in other territories, and that just helps us. It's no different than, and you mentioned you were in Seattle. It's no different than Nirvana came out in Seattle, and all of a sudden everyone was like, well, what else is in Seattle? And then all these other things started getting. So it's like, Canada's sort of like that. There's only 30 million people in the country.
I know. Unbelievable. Yeah.
So if something blows up, then it gives an opportunity. All of us get to go for the ride if we're making good stuff. And luckily, Adam and I have been making good stuff. So we're excited to be a part of that whole movement. But Adam, let's tell them about our new movie that's coming out in Christmas in Canada and eventually in the States.
Well, John, we have a new movie coming out in Christmas, Canada, and eventually in the States.
Tell us about it, please. And promote the hell out of it.
The movie is called Bandits with a V.
The poster's right behind you.
The posters here hasn't even been put out yet.
Bandits with a V. I'm
Bandits with a
pronouncing
V.
that correct. All right, good job, John. Yeah, okay.
It's about 6 stoner idiots who have a bright idea to knock over a senior citizens bingo hall on Christmas Eve.
You said 6. There's only 4.
Is math different in Canada?
I said sex.
Oh. Yeah, they didn't.
It's about sex.
We were drama students, not math students.
It is about 4. There's actually 6 more. No, it's about 4 stoner idiots. Let's take that again. About 4 stoner idiots who have a bright idea to knock over a senior citizens bingo hall on Christmas Eve. And with that money, they're going to cash it in for Bitcoin to buy Lamborghinis. Now,
can you
the best part of the movie...
Can you imagine us or anything?
Can you imagine the meetings when Adam and I are pitching our ideas to the different, networks and broadcasters? Like, we always have these insane pitches, which is sort of what helps us get our movies made, because we're not pitching cookie cutter ideas. Like Faking a Murder. We went in the room and we're like, Adam and I are going to go look for a killer. People were like, what? Okay. Like, this is like, Bandits, like he said, like 4 people are going to go rob a bingo hall on Christmas Eve to buy Bitcoin to buy Lamborghinis. And they're like, what? Okay.
So the best part about the movie, John, is that we've attracted some incredible talent. We have, as we mentioned, the Trailer Park Boys. We have Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys, who's in the movie, who's Rob Wells. We have Tony Napo, who's an incredible seasoned actor. If you're familiar with Galaxy Quest, we have Enrico Colantoni. We have the Canadian icon, who I'm not sure has crossed over to the U.S., but she's amazing, Jan Arden. Do you know Jan Arden?
No, what's she been in?
She's got her own series on Hulu, but she's an iconic singer in Canada.
Oh, there's a few decent singers around the Great White North. Yeah, okay.
She's a legend. So we've had like an amazing cast.
Yes.
We shot in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which was terrible. We got all of our gear stolen the night before we were going to our first day of camera. It was the biggest news story. It was crazy.
And hopefully it will lead to a good deal in the United States, so that our friends south of the border can enjoy the movie as well. But I would definitely say that it's a great slice of Canadian humor, like all of those names we mentioned. It's a very funny movie.
Yeah.
And it's got like some Groundhog Day elements to it, the old that classic movie.
Yeah.
And it's a heist on Christmas Eve, like he said, and it's as the tagline says on the poster, "'Twas the night before Christmas and all hell broke loose."
Well, that's the spirit of the season right there, isn't it? Hell and Christmas. Adam, Stu, thanks, man. You rock.
Thanks for having
us, John.
Absolutely. Guys, this has been Conversations with the Quick Flick Critic. I'm still your humble host, John Smistad. Before we go, I always have to thank Bruce Drelkel, who plays all the music for my show. Just a master musician. Bruce, thanks for doing that for the show. You can find Bruce's work and his music on his YouTube page, which is The Gig Farmer. Go there and see what Bruce is doing music-wise. It's astounding. I invite you to listen, learn, laugh. Goodbye, everybody, including all you wonderful folks north of the border in Canada. Later.
Hey.